This is again courtesy of the homeless cat subreddit. It features what's his face? I forgot his name, man. I forgot his name again, but the guy that used to be on Your Mum's House with the really thick glasses. Josh, is it Josh Potter? Is that his name, Josh Potter? I think so. I'm not too sure. Anyway, he sat down with a young lady who might be also a comedian. I'm not too sure. And they had the conversation regarding Crystalia and his DMs. And she basically admitted that she had, consensual adult fun with Crystalia, and just spoke about how quickly he responds to the DMs, which maybe should be a warning sign for all the women out there, right? Who are chasing guys online. If he replies back to you within like a second of getting the DM, maybe you should be wary of engaging in any sort of adult fun, unless you like that kind of thing, unless you like to, creep and play in traffic and shit. But yeah, this is a clip.
That is a
fan.
Thing. That is
I
a
was
thing.
just, I mean, yeah, when I first got hit up by Dalia or any of the comedians, I was just like
almost choked.
I didn't even have like a large.
Or any of the comedians. Are these comedians just like, what? So what are comedians doing then? Do they search for their names online? Then if they see a cute girl, they reach out to them and say, hey, what's up? Or are they waiting for these cute girls to jump into their DMs? I guess it's probably the first thing I said, right? You just search for your name and stuff, and then you might see someone mentioning you. Or these days, because people like clout, they might mention you in their story so that you can reshare them. And if you see on their profile picture they look hot, then you might just creep into their DMs. I'm not too sure, but it's hilarious regardless.
Following, I was just like,
these niggas are so horny. so horny. Comedians are horny. Like if you were a really attractive girl, or a girl that you guys want to fuck, you could probably get a lot out of the scene if you don't mind, degrading yourself in that respect. No, not even degrading yourself. If you're somebody that doesn't mind feeling dirty, like you don't have to do anything with the guys. You just kind of play them on, kind of play them like little puppets and stuff. You could get quite a lot out of these guys if you're smart. You could get a lot out of them. Like, wax their ego, tell them how smart they are, ask them their opinions on politics, ask them what they think about COVID and face masks and shit, right? Like, ask them who they vote for Trump, like, ask them all those things, and you could definitely get a long way.
20,
yeah, we are aware
21.
he does answer DMs pretty at a rapid pace. I understand from what I
yes.
So I'd imagine you went right to the top of the list.
And got some.
Just put us at horny too, right? You went top. I can see your nipples from here, baby girl. You went straight to the top. Yeah.
Free tickets. Had some intercourse.
Do you have a positive experience?
Like I don't have a.
Anytime somebody asks a girl about another guy and she says, "Hey, do you have a positive experience?" Which is the most polite way to say, "Was the sex good?" And she goes, and then looks up. It's probably a good representation of it was bad, isn't it? Like it probably is a good representation it's bad. Like and looks up. She doesn't immediately go, "Oh my god, he was amazing," right? "Oh my god," right? She doesn't do all that. It was terrible.
A reason to cancel him, but it was definitely like a weird experience.
Yeah, I mean, seems like it from what I've come across in the readings and things like that, and some videos and such.
But I will say, the one thing people always ask me, I'm like, yes, it was all consensual.
Sure.
Yeah.
Well, okay, that's fine.
It was weird, but it was consensual.
Do you think somebody who is not as, I mean, you have then since gone on to obviously do pornography.
Yeah.
Do you think somebody who
Okay, cool. I didn't know she was a Zone star. So that's hilarious. Number one, right? And everything I wanted to point out again, I'm sure we've all got our different taste in women, and she's obviously clearly a very pretty girl in her own right. But am I off base in saying, apart from let's not throw aside, but let's put to one side all the allegations that Crystalia has of diddling kids. That's not something I even want to entertain. Let's just not even talk about that. But don't you guys find it a little bit interesting, just as an interesting observation, that all the girls that Crystalia has been linked with, who've accused him what they've accused him of, who've come out and said they've had a relationship with him, none of them look the same. They all look very different. There's nothing that kind of ties them together. Not in terms of like personality or anything. They just look like randoms, like complete randoms. legit. There's like nothing tying them together. Because you know sometimes you see a serial killer thing. It's like there's same color hair, maybe same complexion, maybe same background. They all look very, very different. Like there's nothing. Maybe the only thing I could say is that the tattoos are similar, right? They've all got like tattoos and stuff. So maybe he likes girls that like kind of look a bit edgy and whatnot. I'm not really too sure, but he doesn't really like have a particular type, really. Oh yeah, someone suspect, yeah, young, white, and skinny. Yeah, maybe that is the one thing, but apart from that, he's down for anything, like basically in that way, shape, or form. Which I'm not sure if that makes him scarier, if that makes more sense. I don't really know, but that was the only thing that kind of came to mind. I was like, huh, she doesn't look like any of the other girls, does she? She looks very different. Like even her demeanor and stuff, like it's all kind of just, you know, like I don't know. Like how do you go from the thing I'm thinking about in my head, right? Because I'd imagine if this lady is now a porn star, most likely she has very loose and kind of free opinions on what it comes to sex and stuff, right? She doesn't really care too much. She's not really kind of uptight. She's not someone that cares too much about, you know, whether or not she's gonna fuck you on the first date or not. It's up or it's up, regardless with her. But the thing that I'm thinking of is that her personality doesn't really match the same as those two girls that were speaking. Remember there was those in the documentaries, an account of those two girls that basically got drunk on like shitty vodka on a train over to come see Dalia, and they were clearly like, you know, really young looking, and he took them straight up to his hotel to try and fuck, and they were really like young. I just kind of, you know, in awe of Dalia because he's a celebrity. Like what makes you want to fuck that kind of girl, like a girl that just graduated from high school, and what then wants to make you want to fuck a girl like this who's clearly a little bit more sexually experienced, right, and grown up? Like there's nothing that ties those together, you'd imagine, right? Because I'd think in my weird head or in my simple brain, the guy that likes the really young the really young unexperienced type would also not be the type of guy that wants to date a girl that's on her way to be a porn star. They're not the same person mentally, you would imagine. Or maybe they are. Who knows? But regardless, I thought that was rather interesting to hear her see what she said. She didn't really give a glowing review of his ability to get down in the sack, which again maybe is another telling sign. You know, a lot of these flipping guys that have these sexual proclivities aren't necessarily the greatest lovers, the greatest companions, or even just like hangs. Because I remember that was another thing as well I mentioned. Yeah, exactly. Bodybuild. What's his face? Sorry, I forgot, my name is blanking out here. Bodybuilding.news. You got a good point there. This might mean that he's a legit sex addict, because I remember that's what I remember reading. Was I reading it? I'm gonna say I was reading it. Russell Brand's first autobiography, when he spoke about his sex addiction. I remember that being a thing that made me understand what sex addiction was about. Because I remember him saying his sex addiction got so bad that he remembers, I think he fucked some old lady or something. Like it was like a random thing. Like someone was showing him to his hotel room or something, and he just pinned up against a wall and stuff and just started smashing her and stuff. And she was like a ridiculously old lady, really, you know, not attractive in the slightest. And I think he maybe he's the one that planted the seed in my head about none of his sexual conquests had any sort of like theme. Nothing tied them women together. Just girls he just wanted to kind of, you know, get involved with because he had to kind of scratch that itch of his addiction. So maybe that's why there's no kind of rhyme or reason as to why he's with certain people or why he hooks up with certain people. They just all kind of look completely random. I don't really know. But yeah, I find it all rather interesting to hear. But yeah, like I said before, it's really interesting that she doesn't give a glowing review of his presence in the bedroom. Maybe because of the documentary, she doesn't want to add to the noise. I'm not really too sure. But I thought that was rather interesting to kind of comment on, just for the sake of commenting on it, innit? Just for the sake.